What's up, everybody? I'm Blessed and Free. Welcome back to another episode of DOC TV. So as y'all can see, I got PNO on the show again. We already dropped part one. I'm going to link that video in the description of this video. So in case you guys didn't get a chance to see it, just click that link. You can watch that and then watch this one. We're going to be talking about when PNO was in JIT camp, but now he got arrested, was in jail, and is getting ready to go back to prison for his adult bid. So if you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, man. Turn post notifications on all, so every time we drop an episode, you can hear it first. So let's get into this episode, though. So PNO, man, what's going on?
So if they haven't watched the last episode, I previously talked about me doing 3 years in Department of Corrections as a youthful offender throughout gladiator camps and, you know, war stories here and there. So I got out in 2011, January 13th. So when I got out, I had the same mind frame as when I went in for them 3 years. Mind frame never switched. I went in, I was around a bunch of badass jits, you know, and ultimately, if you're around negativity and it's nothing but negativity around you, you're gonna eventually fall into negativity, and that's what happened during my bid. You know,
you become like a product of your environment, man. That's really what it was for me. So what was the arrest that led you to jail, which sent you back to adult prison?
So I was staying at Deerfield, and anybody knows Deerfield, I was staying over there by Sample and Military, and I was doing my thing. I was out for about 5 months. I was doing my thing. I finally got on my feet, you know, with the help of my homeboys and shit. I already had a warrant out for my arrest for violating community control because I was supposed to be living in Martin, but I only stayed up there for about 4 weeks before I was like, man, fuck that shit, and I came back down to Broward. When I came back down to Broward, of course, I started staying in the trap. I put my foot in the dope hole, and next thing you know, I'm back selling weed, back selling coke, back selling pills and shit like that. As you know, with that comes property and shit like that. People come to you with a chain. They might come to you with a TV. They might come to you with a new game system to see if they can get a pill or to see if they can get a bag of weed or they can get some coke, something to put up their nose. So one of my licks ended up getting caught for a burglary. She put the police on me. The police come in the house. Of course, the TV's right there, hung up on the wall with the PS4, that bitch. So it's like, you know, I just got a new apartment. I just got a new apartment in Deerfield. I moved out the trap with my homeboy. I was doing my thing. You know, I got to the level where I could go get an apartment and do my own thing. You know what I mean? And I had only been out 5 months. But at the end of the day, I was still moving fast. I was still living in that fast life. I was still doing what the fuck I wanted to do, not what society expected me to do.
Right. Just living reckless, man.
Facts.
And so she got hit up for the burglary. She then told the cops that you had something to do with it?
She got hit up for the burglary. She told the cops it was me that did it, and she pointed out my address. So when they came to my address, they came on unrelated charges, is what my police report say. It say they came on unrelated charges, meaning the warrant that I had out for my arrest for violating community control and leaving Martin County. So when they came in, automatically when the door opened up, I had a girl living with me. They put pressure on her. She let them in the house. The TV sitting right there on the wall.
Damn.
Yeah.
God, damn, that's crazy.
You can't even beat the consent to search charge because she was on the girl I was living with was on the lease, and she gave them consent. She opened the door and said, "Yeah, come in."
Damn, bro.
Ass bitch.
So were you there when they came in, or you weren't there when that happened?
No, I was there. I was about to go out the back door, but there was already police out the back door. So I hid in the closet. I ain't have no other choice.
I've done that.
I had no other choice. Like literally the front door went in, as the front door went in, and she let them police in. I was in the back room trying to get out the back door, and there was police out the backyard.
Damn, so they had you red-handed, man.
They had me red-handed.
You go to jail for that. Now, you're obviously you don't have a bond because you were on community control.
Yeah, violation. / probation.
So when did you find out from the time you went into jail to the time where you like talked to like an attorney and they were like, look, man, this is what you're facing?
So when I was in the back of the police car, I won't lie to you. I was in the back of the police car, like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to jail for a violation of community control. I'll be out within like 2-3 months, man. I ain't do nothing but run from community control. But when I get the booking, I got 14 new charges.
Damn, they slammed you up.
so due to the fact that this girl let the police in the house, mind you, I'm already arrested. They came in the house. I'm already arrested. I'm in the back of the police car. They still searching the house and bagging stuff up as evidence. So as they in there doing all that, they getting their cases together. I get to the police station, I got fucking 13 charges in booking.
Damn, so what'd you think when you saw that shit? Ain't no 4 months now.
A lot of the charges dropped off. I can't remember the exact number, but a lot of the charges dropped off. You know how they do when they arrest you? They hit you with as many charges as possible.
Yeah.
And a lot of charges dropped off. I ended up with like 6 charges because a lot of them were just like bullshit charges. Like I had one charge was invalid use of a handicap placard.
Oh my God, they were giving you everything.
They gave me any charge they could find.
So then when you got it dropped down to 6 charges, like how long were you in county before you actually got sentenced to DOC?
So I was in county 3 years. Both my co-defendants, both of them, I had 2 co-defendants because she told on somebody else too. Both my co-defendants got out on probation within the first 6 months.
Because they didn't have a record or because they told?
One of them had a record, the other one didn't have a record. One of them was telling, the one that, excuse me, edit that. The one that did have a record, she got 6 months probation to tell on me. The one that didn't have a record just copped out the probation.
All right, so shit. So how long did you end up getting sentenced to?
I was fighting that charge.
So you spent 2 years fighting that?
3.
3.
3 years. 3 years.
That's a hard 3 years right there.
3 years. I even went incompetent to proceed trial before. I was in the county jail for 1.5 years before I realized they wasn't coming off this 15 minimum mandatory. And I told my lawyer, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on in the courtroom. I don't know who the judge is. I think the prosecutor. I started saying some crazy shit. And my lawyer's like, we're going to get you evaluated. We're going to get you evaluated. The doctor came out to see me in the county jail. Dr. Brandon is his name. Everybody in Broward County know about Dr. Brandon. He came out to see me in the jailhouse. And he's like, so what does a judge do? I said, ain't no judge. The judge is God. And he just looked at me, right? And he didn't know whether to tell if I was faking the funk or what. So they found me incompetent to proceed trial. After they found me incompetent to proceed trial, they sent me to a state hospital. For
Chattahoochee?
No, they sent me to South Florida Evaluation Treatment Center, which is in Dade County. And BSO transports you there in handcuffs and shackles into a secure building, and then that's where they have doctors and they evaluate you. So I sat there for like, I'm gonna say 3 to 4 weeks before they declared that I was malingering. They said I was faking. And they sent me back to the county. That's the worst thing to go back to the county jail. If you're trying to beat the case with the mental health route, the worst thing to do is go back to the county jail and the doctor say you was faking.
So did he tell the judge that shit?
They wrote a whole report saying that I was malingering and that I was putting out extra, like I was being extra with it. There was no mental illness.
Like you're playing the system.
Yes, right.
Damn, so that wasn't good.
Right, that was after about 1.5 years. So now I'm back in the county. You know, the BSO comes back. They transport me back to the county jail. I'm back in the county and I'm stuck. Like, Chuck, I'm like, man, what the fuck? Now, I hired a lawyer named Gabriella Novo for $15,000. We hired a lawyer named Gabriella Novo who shitted on me. I ended up sitting in the county a whole nother year before I fired her. I'm back off my incompetent to proceed trial.
Yeah.
And I hired a new lawyer named Gabriella Novo. She shitted on me. If you want to take the name out, you can. But she shitted on me. She told me in the courtroom, she was like, they're offering you 15 years minimum mandatory. They have witnesses pointing you out. And this was before my co-defendant, the one who told on me, died. She had already got probation. This is before she died. She was alive at this time. You feel me? I'm still in the county and she's alive out there on the street, hanging out, living good. You feel me? So both my co.
All right. So the case that you're talking about right now, like I saw some comments in the last video. I've also saw some shit on YouTube before I even started this channel saying that you snitch. So yeah, I saw the paperwork. I don't think you snitched. People are saying that because you did something, you got snitched on, you got caught for what you did, and then
Right.
you knew you're going to prison. So you just admitted, like, yeah, I did it. Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Let's go up the road.
First off, I was chained to the floor inside the investigation room for over 12 hours with no food, no water, nothing. I was chained to the floor. So by the time the detectives came in and was like, "You ready to talk now?" I'm like, "Look, man, I did it. Go ahead and charge me. Take me to jail." And that was my admittance to the crime. That was my admittance. We all ended up going to jail. All three of us went to jail. All three, the two Codys went to jail. As we get to the jailhouse, you know, we trying to communicate to see what the fuck going on. I didn't know that they're both telling on me. I didn't know this. You see what I'm saying? He's not telling on me to the substantial point. He's dry snitching. The co-defendant, but
Kind of like agreeing with shit.
Yeah, he's full-fledged telling on me, wanting to be a witness and all this. So after about 6 months in the county, both of them get out, and I'm like, man, what the fuck, man? I got to be getting out. I'm thinking like, they get out, I got to be getting out. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know I got a record. But the bitch had a record too. So it's like, what the fuck? So
but that's why she got 6 months, though.
That's why she got 6 months.
She threw you under the bus.
Did 6 months in the county, and then she became listed as a witness on the paperwork. If you look up my case file, she's the witness. Her name is, I ain't even gonna say her name.
But anyways, I just wanted to cover that. So if you're watching this video, I don't want to fucking see comments saying he snitched and all that shit, because 99% of the people out there that get arrested and know they fucking got caught dead in the wrong and they're going to prison are gonna admit. They're just gonna plead no contest. That's the same shit, though. You're admitting to it.
Same thing. That's admitting to guilt. No contest is admitting to guilt. It's
right, exactly.
Guilty.
All right, man. Now we got that out of the way.
It's nice saying I'm guilty. No contest.
Facts. So, all right. So how long did you get for all this shit that went on?
All right. So I sat in the county 3 years, and during those 3 years, of course, towards the end of my 3 years, I told you I had a lawyer named Gabriella Novo. I had to fire her. She told me to cop out to the 15 minimum mandatory. I was under the Prison History Offender Act. So she
let me get right on 15 years.
Yeah, right on that. That's no better than what the fuck they've been offering me the whole 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really upset in the courtroom. I screamed at my lawyer. My people put up money. I put up money. Everybody put up money for this lawyer, and I ended up screaming and cussing her out in the middle of the courtroom. I ended up having to get another lawyer. So next year comes around, the beginning of the year, and you know how all the judges change over in January. Some judges get off the bench, some prosecutors come into new courtrooms and stuff like that. So everything changed around. Not only that everything changed around, but in February, my co-defendant, the one who was the only testifiable witness, died. I didn't kill her.
The chick?
Yeah, the chick. She died.
All right.
Oh, everybody in the comments go saying that I killed her. She died from an overdose. Okay. So she dies. I got a new lawyer now. I paid $7,200 for a new lawyer, Michael Gottlieb. I got a new lawyer now. I call him. I'm like, look, my Cody's dead. We got to do something, bro. We got to do something. Something got to shake. There's nobody that can tie me to a crime at all. The only thing they have is me saying, yeah, it was me, like that. And my lawyer told me that was not sufficient, a sufficient admittance of guilt. If you're going to trial saying, yeah, it's me, like telling the police, yeah, whatever, it's me, it's not sufficient for guilt, because you have to go into detail of the crime and admit why. You get what I'm saying?
You need evidence.
Right, you need evidence. So you saying, yeah, it's me, just to get out of the goddamn investigation room and go to the jailhouse because you've been sitting in there 13 hours chained to the floor. You see what I'm saying? So we go to court, and my lawyer gets up on the stand, and he's like, the judge says, Your Honor, the only testifiable witness for the state is now deceased. I don't know. He kind of like threw it out at the state, and the state knew nothing about it. You could tell by the look on the state's face that they knew nothing about their only testifiable witness being deceased. So when he threw it out there, he said, the state's only testifiable witness, such and such, is now deceased. And you guys have been holding my client for over 3 years in the county jail on a violation of probation. Your Honor, we're ready to take this charge to trial. we have this charge beat. There's no witnesses. There's no testifiable witness. There's nobody pointing my defendant to the crime, right?
Right.
So the judge hears this. They put me off for a calendar call 4 months down the line. You know how the county jail goes, bro. They calendar call you, and next court date is 4 months down the line. So I get back to the job. I'm like, man, fuck, man. I thought that shit was gonna go good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Hey, like, bitch, y'all ain't got nothing. I thought it was gonna go good. So I called my old girl later that night, and she's like, your lawyer just called me. She said, your lawyer said the state is gonna waive the minimum mandatory on the Prison Release Reoffender Act and give you 8 in, 5 out, which is 13 years, which is 1 year above the bottom of your guidelines. So they're waiving the 15 minimum man, but I still got to get my guideline, which is 13 years, right? My guidelines was 12 years, 13 was 1 year over. So I tell my old girl, I'm like, call my lawyer back. You know, I'm on the jail phone. So I call my old girl. I'm like, you know, tell my lawyer that, see if they can come down off a year. See if they can bring it down to 7 years.
Right.
And if they don't, I still take the 8 years. I've been in county 3 years. I'll still take this 8 and go. You know what I mean? I was counting up game time already in my head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know how that go. Kind of just
yeah.
I called back the next day, and she's like, I got good news. I'm like, what's up? She's like, your lawyer said they came down to 7 followed by 5, which is 12 years. I'm like, I call that, tell him to put in a change of plea, tell him to come out to the jail if he want to talk to me, whatever. We got to get back in the court. I'm not waiting 4 months for this calendar call. We get back in the court the next week, change the plea. I got sentenced to 7 followed by 5. It was a relief, dog. It was a relief that I got sentenced to 12 years.
Yeah, because you know, like, prison is the last stop. Like, after I get done with this next thing, then you know, I'm on the streets. Yeah. All right, man. So did you go through Orlando, or did you go through Butler when you went to prison?
So both times I've been to prison, I go through South Florida Reception Center. My first time going to prison, I went through B dorm, which was the YO dorm at South Florida Reception Center. My second time, I went to J dorm, J1, J2, J3. Yeah, J dorm. Okay. The adult side at South Reception Center. I get locked up. I've never spent substantial amount of time in any other county jail but Broward. I've never been in any other courtroom but Broward. So it's like,
yeah, I feel you. So when you got to adult camp, like, how was that for you? Like, what are the differences you noticed between that and when you were in JIT camp?
All right, so I can basically say it like this. So my first time getting to South Florida Reception Center as a juvenile, as a youthful offender, I was 18, 19, but I was still considered a youthful offender until you're 25 in the Department of Corrections. I get to B dorm, and I'm sitting, and everybody's coming in from child. Everybody's walking in line from child, and people staring me down, people looking, taking the shades off, looking like this. So you feel that shit. You know you about to go into the gladiator zone. You know you about to go. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I get to adult camp, it's like, oh, bro, they're about to call canteen in 15 minutes, y'all. Y'all get ready. And it's like, what?
Totally different, man. Like,
totally different, bro. Totally different.
How long were you at South Florida Reception Center before you got transferred to like a main camp?
About 40-something days, both times. Both times.
That sounds about right.
45 days, 43 days.
All right. So where did you end up?
So, okay, so if anybody knows, when you're at a reception center and you're there for over 30 days, automatically you start to think, oh, they're gonna find me a camp closer to where I'm from. They're gonna find me a camp in the South, like more.
Or you're gonna be a permanent. That's what I was thinking.
Permanent at the reception center, right? I even put in to be a permanent at the reception center. These motherfuckers tell me to pack it up. I see my folder. You know, you can see, you don't really know where you're going unless you watch the folders that they're putting on the Bluebird. So when you folders they're putting on the Bluebird, I see my folder and I'm like, look, that bitch say Santa Rosa Correction Institution. I said, God damn me. God damn it.
Damn, that's one of the worst camps in Florida.
I'm going to the roughest prison in the goddamn state of Florida. I'm going to Santa Rosa Annex.
Damn. So, all right. So when you got there, man, like, you know, you hear even Santa Rosa's been on lockup raw. Like, you hear stories. My boy was on CM at Santa Rosa, but I never really asked him, like, so what was the first month at Santa Rosa like?
Busy. I would say busy, because anytime you get to a main compound within that first month, you're gonna have call out after call out after call out after call
Yeah.
out after call out. You're gonna have to go to medical. You're gonna have to go see a psych doctor. You're gonna have to go see this person, that person, education. You know, you got to see all these people because you're just getting to that compound. But after that first like month, I mean, it's an eye opener, because like you see shit you didn't see in wild counts, bro. You know what I mean? You see full-fledged, like, open relationships, motherfucking full-fledged relationships, men on men type shit. And it's like, it opens your eyes, bro, that you in a whole nother fucking world. Like, half of these people around you have life sentences, bro. And and that's one of them camps, that majority of the compound has life. The real eye opener for me at Santa Rosa was when they gave me my first job. They put me in the TCU unit. They put me as a TCU orderly. So if anybody knows what a TCU unit is, it's the psychiatric unit for the state of Florida Department of Corrections, and it's held at Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. And everybody in that psychiatric unit is from CM. CM1, CM2, or CM. Everybody in that psychiatric unit. There's only a few people in there that come from different compounds across the state of Florida, but everybody in there is from CM, because this is the max of the max psychiatric unit. And I was an orderly in them.
So you've seen some shit.
Bro, I had to go to the doctor. I had to get make sure I can get the blood pathogen shit like that. The shot, you get a blood pathogen shot. It's really? I don't know how to explain it. You get a blood pathogen thing. It's so you can clean up blood.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're like immune to different stuff.
I don't know if the shot is a blood pathogen shot. I don't know. They gave me a shot, and they fucking did my fucking blood pressure. They do your temperature, they do your physical, and then they approve you to be bloodborne pathogen. So meaning that you can clean up blood.
Right. I got you.
Because I'm in the TCU unit, so I have to clean up shit, blood, piss, all that shit. That shit did not last long, bro.
Yeah, you bucked that, huh?
That shit lasted about 3 weeks before I went to confinement. I was like, man, look, I started making money back there. That's the only reason I stayed back there.
You can make some bread back there.
These boys are on CM. These boys don't see the compound. They don't see the K2 we see on the compound. They don't see the amount of tobacco we see or the amount of drugs we see on the compound. They're behind their door 24/7 in a psychiatric unit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that doesn't mean that all of them are crazy, and that doesn't mean that all of them don't have money. You see what I'm saying? And they're allowed to use the phone because they're on CM. They're just in a psychiatric unit.
So you were making moves back there.
Yeah, so I was making moves back there. I was making a little money, and that shit lasted like 1 week before somebody told on me or put a kite in on me from behind the door. They ain't like what other people were doing. You know, people start to hate behind the door because
secret haters.
One motherfucker in your cell getting honey buns, K2 and everything. The other motherfucker ain't getting shit. Run around, won't even come to his door.
When you got to Santa Rosa, like, were you banging?
Of course. Every camp I've been banging. Every camp. All right. From way to adult.
So I always, people watching this maybe aren't from Florida and they don't really know how shit works down here. But so what gang were you banging, if you don't mind me asking?
I ran with the Crips on the compound. I held a position of chief enforcer.
Okay. So, in other states, like racially divided and segregated, and a lot of people don't get, like, there are white bloods in Florida. There are white Crips. There's white Latin Kings, and I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding that. Now, with that said, did you run into any issues being white and banging Crip when you were in the DOC?
I had one issue the whole time in DOC, and that was at Holmes Correctional Institution on the main unit. The head on the compound said that he didn't want no white Crips on the compound. Within 48 hours, I found him on the rec field, and I stepped to him and I let him know what time it was. From there, I fought 2 people. After that, I was the only white Crip on the pound. So that was the correctional institution.
Now, did you run into any other? How many camps did you go to in your adult bid?
I went from Santa Rosa to Holmes Correctional Institution, and from Holmes Correctional Institution, to Appalachia Correction Institution, and I EOS Appalachia Correction Institution. I went to the three of the roughest camps in Florida.
Yeah, you hit the tour bus for all the shit camps.
I hate gangland. Every camp I was at, gangland. As soon as we getting off the bus, everybody talking about, oh, this gangland, this gangland. I'm like, what the fuck is new? What the fuck is new? They sent me to.
What would you say was the roughest camp out of those three?
ACI.
ACI.
ACI. ACI.
Yeah. So when you were at ACI, like what was some of the craziest shit that you saw that you can remember?
The craziest thing that I've witnessed, like with my own 2 eyes, this ain't no shit that I heard about it. I watched it happen. So there was this dude on the compound. He had a life sentence. Of course, not everybody is satisfied with getting a life sentence if they get a life sentence. This dude was one of them people. He was not satisfied that he had a life sentence. He went around the whole compound borrowing, and not paying back. K2, racking up debts here, racking up debts there. And the thing was his face was good at first. So he was able to do that.
Right.
But I don't know what happened with him. You can never tell what happens with somebody and they people on the street. You know what I mean? He went on with his people on the street and they cut him off, and he was just on some, like, he got the rest of his life in here. He wanted to die. And that's what I felt like he wanted to do. I felt like he wanted to die. I'm not gonna lie to you. Me and my brother sat there and talked about it. And we was like, man, this nigga just want to die. That's all he want to do, bro. Cause he going around from gang to gang, everybody just borrowing, and a month go by and he not paying nothing. He not paying shit. So I watched the shit progress, and eventually somebody's gonna be mad about their money.
Yeah, quick.
He was coming out the cell, and I don't know what the dude hit him with, but he went down like a sack of potatoes. And when he went down, his head, if you know the doors, when they roll, you got a bar at the bottom of the door, which is like a lift, where the door rolls. It's like a track to keep the door on the track. When he fell, his head hit the track, and simultaneously, this nigga just picked his motherfucking leg up and stomped right on his head. And it like literally watched his head sink right here into that shit. They brought him out on the street. We all thought he died, honestly, but he didn't die. We heard he lived. But they airlifted him out of there and shit. That was probably some of the most vicious shit I've seen. I don't know if he hit him with a piece of rebar to drop him, but he hit him with something bigger than a lock, something hard.
Yeah. So he's probably a vegetable.
He's probably a vegetable. He probably had hematoma or whatever the fuck that shit is. All type of shit. But he never came back to the compound. When shit like that happens, those people never come back to the compound.
Yeah. So when you were in adult camp this time we're talking about, like, did you have people on the outside that were like showing love, like being supportive?
Yeah, of course I did. I mean, not everybody has that, but I was blessed to have that. And, you know, I had it from a few different angles. I had it from family side. I had it from, you know, my wife. I had it from a couple different angles. I had support. I had motivation and shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's enough to get your mind focused for a little bit. But you really, in order to get your mind focused for that street, you really have to buckle down and just part ways from everybody. You have to just stay in your. I literally, my last week in prison, week and a half, I stayed in my cell the whole time. I ain't come out. I ain't even come out. I had enough canteen and locker to get me through. I ain't even come out for child because I didn't want to be around nobody. I was just trying to get my mind focused for them streets.
Yeah.
And, and if people don't know, my homeboy died at ACI. My homeboy Ant, I got him tatted right here. I got an Ant tatted right there with the bandana on. He was another brother on the compound, and he got stabbed 6 months after I left. He was the head on the pound.
Damn. When did your mind state change? Like, I know obviously when you're in, you know, you want to get out and do the right thing, but sometimes when you're in at the same time, like you kind of get engulfed by the prison life that's going on around you. So you can't really like figure out what the next steps are for when you're getting out. Now, when you were in, like, I know you said the last week, but like, when did it really start to sink in, like that you were like, man, this is the last fucking time I'm coming back to prison?
Honestly, 100%. Like, I was never 100% committed to staying out of negativity. I'm gonna say it like that. I was never 100% committed to it because I was still involved in gang politics all the way to. I had 2 weeks left, and I was standing in front of M dorm with a knife on my hip, ready to stab somebody with like 6 of my brothers, because one of my brothers got some shit took out his locker in another dorm, and we were waiting for the dude to come to child so we could run down on him.
Yeah.
Like, and this was my last 2 weeks. So it's like it's never, when you're in a gang, it's like it's no, when shit's going down, it's going down. It's, you got.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. I held rank on the pound. I even had homies telling me, bro, just stay in the dorm. Okay, you good. Just stay in the dorm. You ain't got to get in this. I know you going home in 2 weeks, bitch. I got 39 years left. You going home in 2 weeks, bro. Just stay in the dorm. Nobody wants to be that one that stays in the dorm. You always
right.
Loyalty to these boys, cause like you done been through it already with them. You know what I mean? We done did a year and some change on the pound together. We probably done been in 3 or 4 wars. We done ate fucking 56 nights together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was never 100% committed, I would say, until I actually got out and I realized, you know, what's going on around me. And it was an eye opener as soon as I walked out them gates, dog. It was an eye opener. It was like, because I was so used to living in that battlefield. I was so used to living in there. And it's just like my mind became warped with that shit. And when I hit the gates and I got out, it was like, damn, this is what the fuck I've been missing, bro. I'm never going back, bro. And that's when my mind was 100% committed. When I walked out them gates and I smelled that freedom, I fuck around and had breakfast at Cracker Barrel. You know what I mean? and that's when my motherfucking mind just was like, I'm not going back no more.
So when you got out, man, like, so I know you got a YouTube channel, and how long, like, what made you get into that?
I had a few people like that I fought with that were into the prison genre or whatever, and they, you know, they kept in the DMs, in the text messages, hey man, you got a story to tell, bro. You got a story to tell. You got a story to tell. And I was always that person that was like, nah, bro, I ain't know nothing about electronics. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm like, man, y'all can keep that shit, because these bitches, I be looking at comments on y'all shit, and these bitches be like going ham, and I'm not on that shit. I find a bitch IP and I try to find them.
Yeah.
And then I had to realize, I was like, you know what? I'll tell my story. And somebody had to make me realize that the people in the comments that drop negative shit like that, you got to look at it like life, bro. A motherfucker in life, when you say good morning to them and they be like, is it? Like, they just always like, they always negative.
Yeah.
You got to look at the comments like that. Those are the type of people that are always negative in life, bro. And they'll never amount to shit, bro. They'll always be negative. They'll never have fucking shit going for themselves. Nobody will ever want to be around them. But they use the internet to vent that negativity.
Yeah, and that's hard to get used to for people like you and me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So it took a while to get used to it, but it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I see people in public all the time that recognize me. Hey, PNO, hey, PNO, hey, PNO. But nobody ever is like, hey, PNO, fuck you. They're always like, hey, watch it. I follow you on YouTube and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, cool. What's up? What's going on? And I give them a little dap and keep it going.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you probably ran into somebody out there that did that dropped a fucking comment in one of your videos saying a bunch of other shit.
That's what makes me realize, like, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. It is what it is.
Yeah, man, facts. So, all right, man. So what are you doing in your life today, man? Like, you know, you did 2 prison bids, you got out, you're doing the YouTube thing. Like, what's life look like now for PNO?
I've been out 3 years now.
PRR done.
Yeah, PR is done.
That's good.
And recently put the money down on the truck. We got a truck. We're doing private moving right now. Me and a partner. It's a little slow this year.
Because you're just starting out.
Just started out, but we have some contracts built up, so we'll be good for the year, you know?
Yeah.
That's just basically what my focus is just basically making money, taking care of the family right now.
Yeah, man, that's good focus right there.
I mean, it keeps me out of trouble, bro. It keeps me out of trouble.
Facts, you know? Bro. Well, hey man, I just want to thank you for coming on the channel again to, tell your story. Hopefully somebody out there is listening to this and they can relate to your story and see that, what happens if you continue doing the wrong shit in life, you're going to get, state of Florida's got something for you.
Thanks. And I spent my whole life in and out, from juvenile all the way to adult, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's like, it ain't where it's at.
Nah, it ain't. It ain't the spot.
You're gonna be, before you know it, you're gonna be fucking 30, 40 years old, and you're gonna be looking at like, where my life went? To the chain gang?
Yeah, hell no. I ain't on that. So, all right, man. Well, I'm going to link PNO's channel in the description of the video and in the comments. Y'all go check out some of his episodes. He brings that raw shit, nothing sugarcoat, tells it how it is, man. So anyways, if you guys haven't, like I said in the beginning, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up, man, leave a comment, show some love. And with that, it's DOC TV and we're out.
We're out of here.